My name is Paul Shelley, and welcome to The AstroHistorian. This is a channel dedicated to exploring and explaining the lore of sci-fi and space universes and discussing their impact. Today we'll be talking about the unusual history of one of the premier race ships of the Star Citizen universe, and its transformation into an elite crime fighter. Before I get started, I want to thank y'all for your continued support. We have over 17,000 subscribers and rising, so if this is your second time you've watched one of my videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when these are released. With that being said, let's learn about the fastest interceptor in the verse. The story of the M50 is shrouded in myth. Some of the more popular ones are that it was designed to win the Murray Cup for Origin. Others state that it was a classified advocacy project to replace the Avenger. Sadly, the true story is less sensational, but no less fascinating. During the development of the Origin 300 series variants in the 2910s, Origin had undergone a rework of their production process for their flagship line. This was so effective that midway through the rework, they realized that their efforts would leave an entire factory free and in unused supply chains, which were previously used to make 315p conversions, likely on Earth. Thus, Origin was faced with a difficult decision: increase production past projected market requirements, mothball the entire supply chain and facility, or develop a brand new ship. So in 2915, Origin decided to build a new ship, and took to the task with glee. They assigned two different teams the task of developing this vessel, and the winner would be the ship that would be produced on this new factory floor. Their only design parameters was a ship that would go fast, and generally make an interceptor, data runner, or racer, with the Origin race team overseeing the competition. The result was two spacecraft, with the team headed by Tam Newson of the current 300 series design team championing the model XVB, and the other team led by the up-and-coming designer Alberto Vara promoting their Y series Interceptor. Both were built for speed and were tested by the Origin race team on live tracks and completed grueling challenges before the Origin board of directors. The ships easily outclassed Origin's current champion, the 350R. However, the Model XVB was a pure racer, while the Y-Series Interceptor had more modularity, which allowed it to support upgrades like weapons and extend its range. Thus, the Y-Series won the competition and became known as the M50. The XVB wasn't abandoned, though, as the idea would be revived in 2946 with a revamp of the 890 Jump to serve as the luxury yacht's new runabout, the 85X. While the win was decisive, the launch of the new ship would prove to be fraught with troubles. It was unveiled at IAE 2917, with the ordinarily reserved Vara uncharacteristically giving interviews to the press about the ship. It was there that he famously excitedly stated, "It was a f***ing cockpit with an engine." To that end, it certainly looked the part. With twin hammer propulsion HM 4.2 engines and 10 Origin precision vectoring thrusters, all crammed into a tiny 11.5 by 11 by 3 meter sleek aero-like frame with a massive rear section dedicated to just its engines, screamed speed and power. The looks were not deceiving either. With a top speed over 1,300 meters per second, it made this tiny ship one of the fastest craft on the market. While it was planned to release the next year, major issues came up with the ship. While the M50 could reach its max speed in a straightaway, any turning at those speeds would turn the ship into a death trap. This, combined with the ejection seat being noted to fail at the ship's top speed, earned the ship a do not fly mark from the UEE regulators. The resulting redesign of the ship would last 3 years, longer than the initial prototype phase itself, and dragged Origin's image through the mud, as a theory emerged that the ship's issues were known before the IAE reveal and were covered up by Origin, thus earning the ship the nickname the Maybe 50. Finally, in 2920, the first 100 M50s were brought to the market. Despite the controversy, the ship sold out quickly, and initial reviews were fairly positive and supportive of the additional time that Origin took to hammer out the issues. Unfortunately for the Origin race team, the issues continued, as the racing version of the ship was still being worked on by the civilian launch. So the team was forced to use the very out-of-date 350R, losing against RSI in the Murray Cup for 3 years in a row, while the kinks were being worked out. This embarrassed the team, as they knew they had the best racer in the verse built, but just out of reach. This caused a lot of conflict, with the design team and the racing team blaming each other over the delays. Luckily, by 2923, the ship was ready to fly, and managed to win its first cup handily. The M50 continued to thrive in the civilian market, with everyone from the rich and famous to blockade runners and even couriers using the ship regularly. There was even a thriving aftermarket customization scene, with various customizers fighting tooth and nail to create the most outlandish and garish color schemes. Everything from neon green with organic glow element to actual gold plating became a reality in the 2930s. The legacy of this time remains with the yearly ugliest ship competition, which highlights the worst mistakes in ship customization around the UEE, a competition which originally started as one to design the most ridiculous M50 color scheme. The story of the M50 would take another strange turn from here, thanks to the event known as Kellers Run. While Kellers Run and the events it sparked is best left to another standalone video, the basic gist is that a man by the name of Dean Keller shot and killed an undercover advocacy agent in a bar on the pirate haven of Spider. Unfortunately for him, he didn't just get caught on camera doing the deed, as other agents were tailing their fellow agent in the bar, but the bar he shot him at was in the self-enforced no-kill zone of Spider, meaning any murder was punished by vigilante justice. Thus began a 3-system chase, which would lead 5 dead and dozens of participants from both sides of the law trying to kill Keller. One of those participants was one Special Agent Gratia Bronson of the Ellis system. Agent Bronson had been modifying her standard Avenger for years to keep up with the smugglers and pirates that would pass through the system. She honed her skills further by paying out of pocket to run the Murray Cup course, which resides in her assigned system of Ellis, to not only have likely the fastest and most maneuverable Avenger ever built, but to know how to handle it. Thus, when Dean Keller jumped into her system, she was the first to arrive on scene. The two dueled for a bit, pitting his modified Hornet against her modified Avenger. However, when her backup arrived, he disengaged and fled. This began a series of engagements where she was the only agent to be able to keep pace and tackle Keller. However, every engagement was putting its toll on her ship, as the Hornet was proving why it had replaced the Avenger as the UEE's main carrier fighter. The final and longest dogfight lasted almost 10 minutes, as Bronson ambushed Keller before he could slip away through the Tyrannus jump point. While she succeeded in thwarting his escape, as her backup arrived, Keller finished off her Avenger with a well-placed missile, destroying the ship outright. Luckily for Special Agent Bronson, she was able to eject before the ship was destroyed. While Keller would eventually be brought down in the Nexus system, it was embarrassingly not an outlaw, bounty hunter, security, or advocacy agent that put him down, but a passing Navy veteran and civilian, Anna Flynn. This led to an investigation by the advocacy into the embarrassing incident. The report concluded that they were simply outmatched and overpowered by the modified Hornet. So if they wanted to deter dangerous outlaws from attempting to escape their agents, they would need faster ships. Advocacy Director Renzo Berlanga convened a commission to investigate and solve this problem. The commission was headed by Assistant Director Thomas Carmody, and after a series of interviews with agents and experts, came to a two-pronged solution. First, they would identify agents that displayed exceptional piloting skills and give them advanced training. Second, they would provide these agents with extremely fast ships designed to intercept and take down outlaws on the run. This was accepted and approved in 2936, with the first leader of this group going to Agent Bronson herself, as she was the obvious choice. Thus, she got a promotion to Special Agent in charge of this new elite unit. While at first the commission recommended that modifications that Bronson had made to her Avenger be standardized for these elite agents, the advocacy knew they needed a better solution. So in 2937, with a new budget for the advocacy approved by the Senate, they surprised everyone by approaching Origin Jumpworks to build them that ship. The advocacy was pleased with Origin's pitch for a modified version of their M50 to be their Interceptor ship. While it wasn't the fastest or most powerful option, it had the right loadout and was well balanced for the mission. While the details of these modifications are still classified, several of these models would eventually fall into the hands of criminals who were unable to reverse engineer the modifications for themselves, leaving these modifications continuing to be a mystery today. These ships are colored in a matte gray camouflage and are emblazoned with a lightning bolt, thus earning the unit that flies them the nickname Bronsons Bolts. Since 2938, these ships have been deployed and spotted in areas of high crime like Magnus, Nexus, and Fora, as well as patrolling Charon to try to rein in the chaos spilling out of that system's civil war, and in systems with jump point connections outside the UEE. Thus, it is possible that some Bronson Bolts are active in Stanton today. Bronsons Bolts and their M50s have terrified many outlaw groups, as the elite unit is still shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Fearful of what these ships might do to their operations, many outlaws have placed bounties on Bronsons Bolts. In 2944, the latest version of the M50 was released, and in partnership with the then-dominant Spectrum spacecraft program Galactic Gear, Origin gave Jax McCleary one of these brand new M50s to test out. It should be noted that this was very reluctantly, as both the show and Jax have a reputation of being, let's say, rough with the ships.
Come on!
Jax called it an apology letter from Origin for the poor performance of the 300 series, and his uncharacteristically effusive praise for the ship boosted pre-orders and sales of the M50 the next year. Within 18 months, Origin had to double their production to keep up with demand, which was bolstered even further by the redesign going on to win 3 of the next 4 Murray Cups, 2 of which were by Origin's own racing team. The M50 is a strange ship. It's a status symbol, a valuable courier, a feared interceptor, and a legendary racer. It still dominates the market today, with few other ships able to keep up with it. Time will tell if it can keep its reputation, but with a ship as versatile as this one, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to find the ship having more surprises in store for us in the future. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'd also like to thank those Patreons on screen now, with whom without their help none of this would be possible. If you want to join them, the link is in the description. For as little as $5 a month, you get early access to videos, including a timed exclusive covering the entire history of the Star Citizen universe, whose first few episodes have been released to the public. Check them out now in the top right corner of the screen to see what $5 a month will get you. For now, let me know what you think about the M50 in the comments below. And as always, remember, ex Historia ad Astra.